Do it again in the pros. Frank said, fine with me.
We don't have any quit on this team. And the guys on the team were just so encouraging, kept me up when it could have been real easy to get down, especially after the interception to start the second half. But, you know, it was a very emotional, still is a very emotional time for me.
Number one, we had to play for ourselves because we were getting embarrassed, and that's what we wanted to do. And obviously the crowd added a lot to it.
Greatest game you ever been in?
Absolutely.
If there was any breakdown in any part of our football team that second half, we wouldn't have won the football game. And it took almost perfect execution on all 45 players out there in the second half to win, and that's what happened.
You just have to continue to play one series at a time and hope that things turn out well. You just can't say, hey, we need 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns. You just take it one play at a time.
I thought our pass rush, when we needed it the most, maybe wasn't as fierce as I would have liked, but their protection schemes, I think, helped them that way.
If you're not executing properly on defense, maybe we'll get a play here, a play there, a touchdown here, a touchdown there. But when a team scores like 4 or 5 touchdowns in 7 minutes, I mean, you can't even chalk that up to our ineptness. You more have to chalk it up to them executing. So they really played well.
So you can't say no next year, you know. I don't know what's going on. It's as simple as that. We choked. We choked as a team. We choked as management. Everyone in this organization just choked.
Here are the stark numbers. In the first half, when the Oilers led the Bills 28-3, they'd outgained the Bills 284 to 79 in yards. In the second half and the brief overtime, the Bills outscored the Oilers 38-10, 4 touchdowns in less than 7 minutes, and they gained almost 300 yards and allowed the Oilers only 145. 41-38 in overtime. And we all watched it. I'm still not sure that it happened. How did it happen?
Well, I think certainly as you look at the beginning of the game and saw Jim Kelly out, Thurman Thomas out, you're looking at a situation where this team was looking to come back from a 32-point deficit without their 2 star offensive players. So other people had to step up. And Joe talked about that in a little bit. But I think if you're looking for a turning point, one key in this game, after the Bills scored their first touchdown, as a team, the Oilers had to know that you were going to get an onside kick. Watch their front 5 here as they start to retreat from the line. They're not even suspecting the fact that they might get an onside kick. Here, we'll take another look at it from another vantage point. Rick Graff here, you see him moving away from the line, then he comes back. By the time he comes back, it's a little too late. At that point now, you've got 17 points if you're the Bills after the touchdown that they score following that kickoff. Now the crowd gets in at that 12th man, and suddenly you start to believe we've got a chance to win this football game.
Tommy, I also felt like there was clock management problems. I don't think the Houston Oilers can only look at their football players. I think they have to look at the entire staff as well. At the end of the game, when they were driving down for what turned out to be the tying field goal, it appeared to me that they were content to try for the field goal. They never really attempted to put the ball in the end zone. They didn't use any of the timeouts. They wound up finishing the game with a timeout or 2. That's not very good. When you're trying to win a football game, you try and win it, not try and tie it. The other thing for the Buffalo Bills, where has Andre Reed been for the last 11 weeks? Right here in this game. Andre Reed finally gets into the ball game. In the one place, Frank Reich does an excellent job of holding Robertson with his eyes, hits Reed in the end zone for the touchdown. 3 touchdowns, 8 receptions, 136 yards, and there's the number. 3 touchdowns today, 3 touchdowns all season, but only one in the last 11 weeks. That's what's happened. Andre Reed's finally a part of their offense again.
And he will continue to be a part as they move on to play the Steelers. You got to wonder now, can the Houston Oilers ever recover from this? You heard Chris Dishman talk about it a little bit. I mean, this year alone was a bookend season for the Oilers. They blew their opening game. They were up 14-0 to the Steelers before losing. Blew leads at Denver, against Pittsburgh later, Miami, and of course today, the worst oil disaster since the Valdez. And this is a team that lost at, not even Exxon could bail them out of this. I mean, they lost at Denver in the playoffs last year. They lost against Pittsburgh in the playoffs in 1989. So you must wonder, how can they ever regroup from this? And oh, by the way, we did get a call from the Buffalo locker room afterwards, and the whole team suggested that we call Frank Lloyd Reich, the architect of comebacks. He truly is, because he's already engineered or built the largest comeback in college history, leading Maryland from a 31-0 deficit against Miami in 1984 to a 42-40 win. And today now, he has done the largest comeback in professional football history. And this is a guy who now in his NFL career has started 7 games. Pretty good work with not a lot amount of time. All right. Next week, Buffalo now moves on to play Pittsburgh, a team they defeated at Buffalo earlier this year by 8 points. Then Sunday, you already know, it's Arnsparger against Shula, San Diego at Miami. That's the AFC playoff picture. As we go inside the numbers, biggest comeback ever? Well, it happened in 1980. San Francisco down 35-7 at home against New Orleans. Joe Montana, a young Joe, to Freddie Solomon, gets him back in the game. And then in overtime, the personable Ray Wersching, 36-yard field goal, and down 35-7, the Niners beat the Saints 38-35. That was the biggest comeback in the history of the NFL, 28 points, until today. The Bills, 32-point comeback, the best ever. Did someone say comeback? Well, maybe not 32 points, but the Eagles had some comeback on their mind way down yonder in New Orleans. Stay with us.